Hi, I'm Valerie Crowe with Cobb and Douglas Public Health. Welcome to Spotlight on Public Health. Today we are going to discuss the topic of immunizations, and we have Preethi Kale, the Director of Immunizations with Cobb and Douglas Public Health, with us. Hi Preethi, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Valerie.
Preethi, let's start by talking about the word vaccine. What does that mean?
Well, a vaccine is a product that when it's introduced into the body, it produces an immunity to that particular disease. So when you're exposed to that disease in the future, you don't get that disease. And vaccines can be administered mainly through needles, but sometimes through oral or through a nasal spray.
Okay, and why are they important?
Well, vaccines are very important to prevent disease outbreaks in the community. So it is very important to have a large amount of the population immunized against diseases.
All right, and what are some of the diseases that can be prevented by vaccines?
Well, there's over 20 different diseases that can be prevented by vaccines. To mention a few, it's measles, mumps, rubella, chickenpox, and polio, but there's many others as well.
All right, and can you tell us a little bit about how vaccines work?
Yes, so vaccines are a inactivated disease germ. So it doesn't cause illness, but it causes your body to produce antibodies to the disease. And so when you're exposed to that disease again, those antibodies are already floating in your blood and they can attack that germ and you don't get sick from the disease.
All right, and then how do communities benefit from vaccines?
Well, when a majority of the community is vaccinated against disease, then if a disease comes into the community, it can't spread, so disease outbreaks don't occur. So you want to have as many people as you can vaccinated against a disease so that it doesn't spread amongst the community.
Okay, and what vaccines are routinely recommended?
There are 15 routinely recommended vaccines on the immunization schedule, and this schedule is developed by the Advisory Committee for Immunization Practices, and so there's 15 that are recommended in the United States.
All right, and if someone wanted to know, where could that schedule be found?
You can find that entire schedule on our website at cobbanddouglaspublichealth.org, or you can also find it on the CDC website at cdc.gov.
Okay, and what about school-age children? Why is it important for them to get vaccinated?
Well, again, it's very important for school-age children to get vaccinated to prevent any type of outbreak in a school setting. You have a lot of children all together, and so if a disease is introduced into the school, it can spread quickly if everybody's not vaccinated. So it's very important that all the children are vaccinated.
All right, and then what do school systems in Georgia recommend or require?
Yeah, there are two particular things that schools recommend or they actually require for school attendance. And one is a valid, complete immunization certificate, which is sometimes referred to as the Form 3231. And that is just the Georgia certificate that certifies that the child has all of the recommended vaccines. The second form is a vision, hearing, dental, and nutrition screening form, which is sometimes referred to as the 3300 form, and that's for children that are first entering a Georgia school for the first time. That's required. But every student must have a valid certificate for immunizations.
All right, and then I've heard about back to school. I know Cobb and Douglas Public Health does something called Back to School. What is that?
Yeah, Back to School is our event to try to get parents to bring in their children early. So it usually happens between June and July in the summertime, where we're encouraging parents to go ahead and bring their children in early so they're ready to go to school in August.
Okay, and then what about preteens? Are there certain vaccines that they need to get?
Yes, so any child that was born after 2002, it's a school requirement that before they enter 7th grade, they need to have a meningococcal vaccine and also a Tdap vaccine, which is your tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis vaccine. So this is a requirement for every 7th grader. And even if you're if you're from another state, and you're coming in as an 8th or 9th or 10th grader, you still have to get those vaccines. You still have to be current according to the Georgia schedule.
Okay, and I've seen a lot of ads about HPV, and I know that that's something that preteens are supposed to get. What can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so HPV is the human papillomavirus, and it's a very common virus. Over 80 million people in the United States are infected with it. We haven't always had a vaccine for it, so now that we do, it's very important to get your 11 and 12-year-olds vaccinated for HPV to prevent certain types of cancers. So it is a very important disease to get.
Okay, and then what about adults? I know we've been talking about children. Are there certain vaccines that are recommended? And then what about seniors?
Yeah, so adults, if you haven't had all of your childhood vaccines, it's a good time to go ahead and get up to date on all of your vaccines as an adult. And of course, we recommend the flu vaccine every year for every adult. For seniors, there's a couple of vaccines that are recommended for seniors, one being the shingles vaccine, and one is the pneumococcal or the pneumonia vaccine. And of course, seniors should get the flu vaccine as well.
Okay, and then does CDPH or Cobb and Douglas Public Health provide these vaccines?
Yes, Cobb and Douglas Public Health provides all of the routine vaccines, and we have a walk-in clinic, no appointment is necessary, so you can just come in and get your vaccines at 4 of our health center locations, the Marietta location, East Cobb, Douglasville, and Ackworth. And again, no appointment is needed for those routine vaccines.
Okay, and is there a phone number if somebody needed to call or anything to get more information, or should they just visit our website?
They can visit our website at cobbanddouglaspublichealth.org.
Okay, great. All right, we are going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today. Learn how at ready.gov.
Welcome back to Spotlight on Public Health. Preeti, in our last segment, we discussed vaccines and immunizations. So now let's switch gears and talk about flu shots and immunizations related to flu. What can you tell me about the flu and immunizations?
Well, influenza is a very serious disease. It can cause hospitalization and sometimes death, so it is important to get your annual flu shot every year.
Okay, and what are some of the symptoms?
Flu symptoms are a little bit different than a cold. They come on really suddenly. It's really a sudden onset, and you can spike a pretty high fever. Sometimes there's cough involved, a sore throat, your tiredness, just really, feeling exhausted and muscle weakness.
All right, and then how can people reduce the risk of getting the flu?
Well, the best thing to do is to get your annual flu shot every single year, and then also to practice what we call hand hygiene, which is frequently washing your hands. And don't touch your eyes, nose, and mouth so you don't introduce any germs into your system. And also, if you're going to sneeze or cough, use a tissue and then throw the tissue away and then wash your hands after that. And also to help prevent the spread of disease, don't go to work if you're sick, and keep your child home if they're also sick.
All right, is there anything new that you can tell us about the flu season this year?
There are a couple of new things this year. Every year the vaccine is kind of tweaked so that the strains match what's circulating in the community. And also this year the nasal spray or the flu mist is not recommended, so we won't be offering that product. And also there's a couple of new different injectable flu vaccines that are on the market.
All right, and what sort of flu season are we expecting this year?
Well, it's really difficult to predict what type of flu season. It changes from year to year, so we really can't predict what type it's going to be. It's just important to get your vaccine every year.
And what's the typical season, month-wise?
Yeah, so flu season generally, the entire season goes from October to May, but it peaks really in the United States from December to March. So that, every season is different and the peak can change, but generally in the United States, that peak is going to happen between December and March.
All right, and does Cobb & Douglas Public Health offer flu shots?
Yes, we do. We offer the flu shot at our 4 locations that I mentioned earlier, Marietta, East Cobb, Douglasville, and Ackworth. And again, no appointment is needed. You can just walk in for your flu shot, and we have flu available now.
Oh, great. Okay. And then I know at one time Cobb & Douglas Public Health offered the mobile stations. Is that something that's still offered, or?
Yes, we do offer that. So for organizations or businesses that have 20 or more individuals that are going to be immunized against flu, we can have a nurse come out and do those flu shots for you on site at your place of business. So if you have 20 or more individuals, we can provide that service for you.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's really a nice service. All right, after a short break, we'll be right back.
It's time to join forces. Get energized and fuel up right. Because starting today, every kid in America has a mission. Bring out the action hero in you. Be part of the greatest action movie ever. The first movie that puts you in the action. Show us how you train and eat like an action hero. Join in at actionheroalliance.com.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Spotlight on Public Health. Preeti, now that we're back, let's shift gears and talk about travel health. What are travel vaccinations?
Well, travel vaccines are vaccines that are needed for international travelers. There are a lot of diseases that aren't common in the United States that travelers can be exposed to when they travel internationally, so they need to be vaccinated before they travel to these other countries so they're protected and they can enjoy a safe trip.
All right, and can you tell me a little bit about the services that Cobb & Douglas Public Health offers?
Yes. So Cobb & Douglas Public Health, in our Travel Health Services Department, we offer a full consultation with a nurse, and this is a travel consultation that includes safety precautions on how to stay safe during your travels, to include insect precautions, food precautions, and water precautions. And also the nurse will review with the client all of the recommended and required vaccines that are specific for that particular area where they're traveling. So the itinerary is looked at, and all the vaccines that are recommended for that particular area are discussed, and then the decision is made which vaccines to get. So it's a full consultation with the nurse.
Okay. And what are some of the diseases that travelers are at risk of being exposed to?
There are several, but when you talk about travel vaccines, mainly we're talking about yellow fever, Japanese encephalitis, and typhoid, or to mention a few. And then if individuals aren't current on their routine vaccines like measles, mumps, and rubella, and also your tetanus booster, you want to go ahead and get those before you travel as well.
Okay, and can people of all ages get travel vaccines?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no age limit.
There's no
All right.
age limit.
And what locations are the travel health services offered?
Well, our travel health services are currently being offered at our Marietta location, East Cobb, and Douglasville. And we will be opening travel health services at our Ackworth location starting in October. So we're really excited about that.
That's great. All right, and is an appointment needed at the Travel Health Clinic?
Yes, appointments are needed for all travel health services simply because we do have that extensive consultation with the nurse, so we want to make sure that we do have enough time for that consultation. So appointments are required for all travel health services.
All right, and then to make an appointment, what does someone need to do?
For our Marietta location, the phone number to make an appointment with our travel clinic is 770-514-2485. And you can visit our website at cobbanddouglaspublichealth.org for information on the other clinics that offer travel services.
All right, well, Preeti, thank you for joining me today to talk about immunizations and some of the services that Cobb and Douglas Public Health offers. For more details about the topics we discussed, visit our website at www.cobbanddouglaspublichealth.org or call 770-514-2300. Thanks for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you next time.
The Cobb County Safety Village is the most comprehensive safety training environment in the region. Located in central Cobb County, the Safety Village aims to provide the highest quality of safety education available. Primarily designed for elementary-age school children, the Safety Village provides hands-on life safety training. Education is the key to reducing risk and protecting our community and its residents, and the Cobb County Safety Village is the first in Georgia to offer this kind of learning experience. On the 8-acre site is a large multi-use education building which includes classrooms, a cafeteria, offices for employees, and an auditorium made to look like the historic Strand Theater in Marietta. There is also a station for inspecting car seat installation, a free service provided to the residents of the county by Safe Kids of Cobb County, which includes 3 mechanics bays that provide shelter from the elements as well as heat during the winter months, as opposed to before when seat checks were done outside. After walking through the reception area, visitors are greeted with what looks like a small house. This is known as Sparky's house. In the hallway, which is made to look like a street, there's a replica of a telephone booth and a small tree. Sparky's house actually consists of a living room, bedroom, and kitchen, creating an incredibly memorable learning experience that mimics some life-threatening situations that children may face in their own homes. The front door of the house opens to what looks like a regular home on the inside. In Sparky's living room, children are taught about the 3 elements of fire, shown what objects around the house are more subject to catching on fire, and then the home fills with smoke from machines and steam heats the doorknob at the exit. Children must then maneuver, crawling across the floor to keep away from the smoke, and feel the door with the back of their hands to see if there is fire on the other side. The children then open the door and crawl outside to safety. When they are in Sparky's bedroom and the room fills with smoke, the children must then climb out the window with a safety ladder and meet up at the family's arranged meeting spot, the tree outside of the house. After these lessons, children participate in a simulated 911 call, complete with a live operator answering at the other end. Children are also given classes from police officers regarding topics ranging from what to do if approached by a stranger, what to do when you're home alone and hear a knock at the door, and what to do if they find a gun in the house. Interaction and participation by the children is highly encouraged and also provides for a better learning experience. The Safety Village's goal is exactly this: teach children in a unique and unforgettable way and make it as interactive as possible, but do so in a manner that is controlled, supervised, and above all, safe for the students. The David Hankerson Education Building is only the first part of the children's experience. The Safety Village itself is a working village. The land has been paved like a small neighborhood and designed to look just like that, only on a reduced scale. The Safety Village is a child-sized representation of our county, complete with real trees. scaled-down operative buildings with signage, small street signs and traffic lights, and even model homes. Site elements used throughout the village reference those found around the Marietta Square to help give the scene a recognizable and authentic look. The site features 4 distinct areas, which are the Marietta Square, a commercial district, a residential district, and an industrial district. Since it has opened, the Cobb County Safety Village has improved the fire department's efficiency in training students by 200%. Twice as many students have been able to take part in this safety training than last year before the Safety Village opened. It is easier and requires less manpower to have a centralized location, which helps to reduce scheduling conflicts. Before, when 2nd and 4th graders participated in their state-mandated fire safety program, a fire truck with a trailer housing a far less advanced scenario similar to Sparky's house would have to travel out to each school individually and could only handle one small group of students at a time. The Cobb County Safety Village allowed them to build a more complex scenario, which teaches the children more effectively, and they have room for multiple classes at one time. Children will benefit greatly from the knowledge that they will encounter through observation and participation. Learning is essential to a child's mind, and taking part in the process is crucial. The philosophy is simple. Tell me and I will forget. Show me and I may remember. Involve me and I will understand.
You wanna go for a ride?
When I saw your face for the first time, I wondered how your life had been. Had anybody held you or loved you, or had they never noticed you there? What are you doing here? If your eyes could cry, I'd see a tear. The sadness that I see, you're coming home.
Why are you turning in this dog?
Be the best of friends.
Well, we're moving.
How
long have you had the dog?
11
haunts
years.
me almost every day. Don't turn your head
You understand the dog will like to be put down?
Yeah.
That won't make it go
I'll need you to complete the surrender if you would, please. You're giving up all rights to the dog. Are you okay with this?
Both my eyes have filled with tears, knowing one will find a home, leaving others' fate unknown. We're killing our best friend. There's only so much one can do, that's why I'm out here asking you.
Did you want to keep the collar?
I don't think so.
Don't run away from your fear. That lovers need to learn and finally be concerned. They're killing our best friends. There's only so much one can do, that's why I'm out here asking you. How can you help me?
Every year, in Metro Atlanta alone, nearly 90,000 unwanted animals are put to death. It is epidemic and unnecessary. The problem can be fixed. Spay and neuter your animals. The time to act is now. Stop the needless killing. Please help us. www.mostlymutts.org.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Ready or not, here I come.
Take time to be a dad today.
Daddy, I'm gonna find you.
Shelters are the best places to find a new pet.
What a perfectly beautiful little lady.
That's where you'll discover healthy, loyal, and loving animals.
You little rascal.
Eager to become a part of your family. A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet.
Oh, ladies first.
Be that person. Adopt.
This is living. Hey, kid.
To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Lead paint poisoning affects 1 million children today. If you're pregnant or have young children and your home was built before 1978, you could be at risk. Learn how to protect your family. To find your home's danger zones, the health effects, or just to find help, log on to leadfreekids.org.
My sadness and depression grew out of giving myself to my career before I would give myself to myself.
I didn't want to tell my parents. I really didn't want to tell anybody, and I didn't. I shut down.
Giving voice to what you're feeling is part of the healing.
The healing is in me and can also be extended to others.
If you're strong enough to just open your mouth, that's all it takes.
Hi, I'm Terry Williams. Can I tell you that it is way past time for us to come face to face with the issue of mental illness in the Black community? Time for us to stop hiding it behind closed doors. Share ourselves. Healing starts with us.
Today is Saturday. Today is Saturday. Yeah. Salad on Saturday, fruit on Friday, throw a ball Thursday. Water Wednesday, touch your toes Tuesday. Let's move Monday, swap snacks Sunday.
All the healthy children eat well and move a lot. And move a lot. And move a lot. Eat well and move a lot.
60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. So keep them active and eating well every day.
Skip a rope Saturday, freeze tag Friday, tap dance Thursday.
Whole grains Wednesday, try a veggie Tuesday. Let's move Monday, split the sweet Sunday.
Eat well and move a lot.
Today is Saturday. Today is Saturday.
All the healthy children, all the healthy children.
Get ideas. Get involved. Get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.